Someone's got to be the adult. Let's do it. So when we first started Reilley Design Studio, we wanted to make the experience a little bit different than some of our competitors.
One of the big things that I came into this with was this idea of a white glove service where Parkway is providing that high-level customer service experience. And I know that sounds trite, but we really did want to make sure that we were partnering with our customers. We weren't just dealing with clients churn and burn. We wanted people who would be with us for the long term, both on our team, but also as our clients, because really we're an extension of them.
At that time, there were a lot of companies using their own proprietary content management systems for their website. And while that's a great business decision, it ties the customer to the agency. And we wanted to do things a little bit differently. So we decided to build everything in WordPress, which gave the client the opportunity to either manage the site in-house or have another agency handle it for them. There's no contracts. None of our clients are tied to us in any way. And it's these purposeful decisions that made us a little bit unique in the space. Getting clients early on was sort of a challenge. We had some of our own connections and we definitely tried to leverage those as much as possible, but growing the company would require new clients. But a lot of it was just banging on doors, taking any opportunity that we had just to get our name out there. And going into meetings early on was quite the experience.
Again, we're very different people. And when we would kind of volley back and forth, you had this creative person and this very technical person. And I think we kind of met in the middle with this idea of Parkway is big on analytics. So we could talk about what Chris's creative objectives were and at the same time making those real with the actual analytic data behind it.
So usually the client would be more drawn to one or the other. And it really worked in our favor at the time. I can remember one specific time we were in a pitch meeting, and at the end of it, a client looked over to me and said, "You're lucky he's with you." And it was like the perfect example of how we were such a good team. So when we started, my dad owned the office for Reilley Printing and Graphics, and he was nice enough to rent back my old office to me. So we still got to spend a lot of time together. And in September, I started to notice some weird stuff. He was doing things like dropping papers, losing his balance, just kind of weird behavior I was noticing around the office. So we were working on a project, and around lunchtime, I convinced him to let me take him to the hospital to just do a couple tests. And he went in, got an MRI, and they found a huge tumor in his brain. The next day he was in emergency surgery, and we found out that he had what's called glioblastoma, which is a really aggressive form of brain cancer. It obviously was a shock. No one had expected anything like that. And aside from the personal challenges of dealing with that, from a business sense, that really kind of threw everything up in the air. I was working out of the hospital waiting room for almost a month and really relied on Rob to kind of make sure that the mail was picked up and things around the office were taken care of, because I knew that I wasn't going to be back there anytime soon. After my dad's surgery, it became abundantly clear that he wasn't going to be able to return to normal activity, whether that be on a personal level or at work. So we decided it would be best to just close my dad's business and buy the building from him to renovate for our purposes. Towards the end of 2015, especially with everything happening with my dad and now having to absorb the work that was going through Reilley Printing and Graphics, we just didn't have the capacity to operate the way that we had in the past. Rob and I were working really, really long hours, and it just wasn't sustainable. So we felt it was time to bring on a new team member. All right, I'm warming up. Okay. Can you read me the question one more time? I'm going to start over. Episode 2. You just did it. Next, episode 3.
Remember what it was like back when we were at Anderson's?
Am I being animated enough? Okay.
Can you hold it together?
I don't know.
Like doing this for this. Yeah.